Hey there, my name is Matt Diamond.
And I'm Brian Hamilton. We're here to introduce you to the very first episode of The Secret Stash. We're here in Oshawa at Isabella's Chocolate Cafe on King Street to introduce you to some amazing local talent.
The concept of the show is not only to get to know some players and performers from right here in Durham, but to introduce you to some of our very closest friends as well. This episode will feature both Corey Kamita and Dan Brooks, two artists that play in and around the Durham region, but with two completely different styles of music.
The show's not only shot in Durham, but we're going to take you down into Matt Diamond's very own basement studio called The Spaceman. We not only shot most of the episodes there, but the show was conceived there as well.
That's right. We'll head to my neighborhood. We'll get into the basement. We're going to sit and have a couple of different intimate performances from both Dan and Corey. Plus, we'll sit, we'll talk, we'll get to know a little bit more about them as well.
So let's get started. First off, we're going to meet Dan Brooks. He's a local singer-songwriter. He writes his own music. He plays drums in many other bands, and he's also the frontman for Benjamin Raines and the Blood Machine Band.
Let's head to the basement and get to know Dan Brooks.
Climb a black mountain in a sea of light. Cross a dark highway in the dead of night. Wish I saw the world like a blind man's dog. I'd listen to the earth sing all night long. I will not mourn my passing youth, will not fear my own demise. These are the reasons people pass on, completely unhappy with their time. Wait a minute, you're speaking way too fast. You gotta show me the way to go. Ballerina slippers hanging on my wall. Tall glass of water laying on my floor. An open window lets me see the stars. I listen to the earth sing all night long. Wait a minute, you're speaking way too fast. You gotta show me the way to go. Wait a minute, you're speaking way too fast. You gotta show me the way to go. Take your word for it, show me the way to go. You gotta show me the way to go. Wait a minute, you're speaking way too fast. You gotta show me the way to go. Whoa.
It would be cool to go to a high school with like a track on it, eh?
Would you have used it?
No, probably not. Not when I was in high school. Definitely not. Actually, playing drums in the band I was in was a bit of a workout. We were pretty extreme.
It's a little different than what you're doing now.
Extremely different than what I'm doing now. Yeah, it's always kind of like a joke to show. Well, not like a joke, because I don't want to discredit the music. Because like it was fun, and I think we were actually pretty decent at what we did. Like we were a really heavy metal band.
What's the name of that band?
Viscera, Viscera. I think our MySpace is still there. It's ridiculous. It was really heavy, and those guys were great to play with and good friends of mine. But it was a lot different than what I do now. Slipknot. That was probably the heaviest I got. Yeah. And then it was all like melodic, like hardcore bands and screamo bands. That was more my thing.
But with what you do now, it's so dramatically. Sorry, I just made up. What you do now is so different from that. What kind of stuff did you listen to that you would say inspired you to slow down and play the music that you play now?
Slow down, eh? I don't like. Probably one of the bigger things was like when it was heavy. I always was, like Alexis on Fire has been my favorite band for a long time. And, you know, so when Dallas Green started doing that solo stuff, I was like, oh, this is really neat. And then it got twangier, and then I liked that. And from there, I always say like the landmark album for me, like in terms of slowing down, was I got Neil Young live at Massey Hall, and I was like, holy crap! I was like, this is really good. I want to do something like this. You know, I don't know. It was really overnight. It was I got really sick almost of listening to heavy music. Like I really did. Like I felt it was just too much. You know, it was just like I'd been listening to it for so long. It was the same thing, and all the bands sounded the same, and I was like, it's just like garbage. I don't want to listen to this anymore. And like overnight, it was like there was like I'm saying, there's a bunch of different like bands that all happened at once. Like I went on iTunes and I bought like a Stills record because I was like, okay, people talk about this band. I've never listened to them. You know, I didn't love it, but I was like, okay, this is like a step in a different direction. I dig it. So it was like the Stills and then a Ted Leo and the Pharmacist album, and then slowly it just got quieter. And then I remember Kyle once he said, I've had enough of your story music. He's like, you used to listen to metal, now you listen to story music.
That's a good way to put it. When did you find Tom Waits?
Tom Waits. My dad started listening to, well, I guess my dad's been listening to Tom Waits for a while, but in high school he really got into Tom Waits again. He bought the album Real Gone. And I got in the car one day and I was like, Dad, like, what the hell are you listening to? He's like, oh, it's Tom Waits, it's great. And I was like, okay. And then, you know, the guitar player in my band got really into it, and he's like, here, check out this album. It was Mule Variations. And I listened to it, and I was like, yeah, I get it. I get it now. And then after that, I listened to everything else he has, and he slowly became probably my favorite musician.
Tell me what's that playing on the transistor radio? Is it something sweet in a minor key? Is it something peaceful and slow? Is it the melody that gets you high, lifts you off your feet and makes you wanna cry? Tell me, mama, please, what's that playing? Seems that I've been yearning for something new to fill my ears. So when I pass your house on that busy street, there's nothing I'd rather hear than a melody I can't quite place on the last good day in this awful place. Tell me, mama, please, what's that playing? Well, you can tell me once and you can tell me twice. I'm gonna tell you right now, it just won't suffice. Got a pretty good feeling about a simple song. Got a pretty good feeling, don't think I'm wrong. Tell me, mama, please, what's that playing? So tell me, what's that playing on the transistor radio? I got a pretty good feeling, you know, that I already know. I ain't looking for much, not a whole lot at all, just some simple chords and a place to fall. Tell me, mama, please, what's that playing?
So every time I hear Dan Brooks perform, the goosebumps on my big toes high five the goosebumps on my nose. The guy's got just a killer voice that grabs you every time, and his lyrics are just inspirational. And as a drummer, he just gets my groove, he gets where I'm going, and understands me as a musician. So he's just a great all-around musician to have with you all the time. But we spent the majority of the summer just working on his album on and off, and it's got a great vibe to it with baritone guitars and baritone voices, and just helps get his message out there. And I played some guitars on it, spaghetti westerns, and a couple of other instruments I won't mention, just so they're a surprise when you hear the album.
Think of Dan's emotional context when in sitting in the studio. Always had a pretty clear idea of what he always wanted the end game to be, and no matter, I always found, you know, we bring ideas forward and he would either absorb them or reject them with a very clear indication of what the end game was always about with Dan. So that part of it, production in the studio, was pretty easy. Dan live Dan live is to me, I always feel emotion, and I always feel fun. I always feel a guy that's speaking from the heart and telling a story as he's related to his upbringing and his experience.
Corey Comita, he's a versatile, talented musician. He can play almost every instrument that I've seen him pick up anyway. And when you see him play live, he's just, you can't help but bounce up and down.
What's his name?
Corey Comita is in a band called Speedo Tuxedo. It's like, I don't know what to describe it as. It's funk and fun. It's got a lot of rock in there too. He stems from a lot of different influences. It's fun every night. Every night I've seen him play.
Corey Comita's band, Speedo Tuxedo, possibly the greatest I've heard so far. You know what? When you're saying I am the dude, I'm gonna appreciate every band. But when I heard Speedo Tuxedo, I know Corey for about 4 years now. When he just started at the Bitmore. You know what? Possibly one of the best live artists I've ever seen. You know, this man rocks a Gibson double header like I've never seen before. Like, this man, absolutely delicious. Next up, we're going to introduce you to our good friend Corey Comita.
Corey is a resident of Durham region, but he comes all the way from Brandon, Manitoba. He's a brilliant singer-songwriter on his own, but also a member of a group by the name of Speedo Tuxedo.
It's also important to note that he has a style all his own. His influences range from blues to hard rock to acoustic music like you're going to hear today. Remember, this guy is a professional. It's all he does.
I think both you and I met Corey from just being out on the scene, either playing in bars or local open stages as well. Let's go get to know Corey Comita.
To keep my mind free, I try to catch a feeling for a sexy legend lady and a deadly change of scene. Rattles me as I awake. Don't see the frowns on her face, 'cause every time I look around, the sexy legend lady, 'cause the string around my legs hangs me upside down from the ground. Is it a reason to sell my soul, or is it just a hard time for rock and roll? Oh no, 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 I hope I don't think it's so. Oh no, 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 I hope I don't think it's so. Hey. She knows perfection and submission, extinction as despair, sexy legend ladies naked. So your heart and go by when you find what there is to find, and clean your eyes of your life. Yeah, what she does love, she keeps inside the good. Tricky legend lady, don't let a heart that's heavy weigh you down when you've got more to give. Is it a reason to sell my soul, or is it just a hard time for rock and roll? Oh no, 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 I hope I don't think it's so. Oh no, 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 I hope I don't think it's so. Time for rock and roll. Oh no, 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 I hope I don't think that it's so. Oh no, 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 I hope I don't think it's so.
Good. Good. I wanted to ask about the scene in Manitoba, because you're here on what do we call this? An adventure?
An adventure, yes. The Manitoba scene. I know only about pretty much one spot in particular, which would be Brandon, Manitoba, and that is like I lived there for 4 years, and I met a lot of great people. There's lots of good music there, and I cut an album out there, and then after that I moved out here to just try and, you know, expand more. And
hold on, doing what?
Doing what?
When you say expand.
Expand? Well, basically, okay, what happened was when I got to Manitoba, I didn't know anybody. And slowly I met one person, then I met someone else. And then eventually it turned into like a huge group of awesome people.
How have you been received out here? How's the reception been when you're playing for strangers?
It's good. It's good. It's different. And I mean, you go play a night or something. Like a lot of nights I'm playing for like 3 or 4 hours. So, you know, sometimes out of a whole night, you might not hear any clapping in a night.
Yeah.
And you're kind of like, okay, where do I go from here? Like, you play your first song, you give it your all, and then you don't hear anything, and you start to question yourself. You're like, okay, like, damn, like, what do I do now? But then, like, you know, you take your first break, and you go around, and, you know, people like it. They want to buy CDs. They want to tell you they like this or whatever. And then all of a sudden, you're like, kind of feel a little bit more assured.
By the soap and water, December seems more real. Now when I took a lot of goodbyes just to get here, now hold your heart, it's a long walk, and I packed an extra last kiss. No more scoring when the high falls. No more promises left for me. In the envelope I'm writing your name on, sealed until it's closed for good. There is beauty in the storm, I guess. There is no reaching past your smile, though. And now that heart of yours, my foot's on. It's like a lonely stomp without a shoe. The poetry I ran through like a melody inserted into my stew. In the envelope I'm writing your name on, it's sealed until it's closed for good. There is beauty in the storm, I guess. There is no reaching past your smile, though. Smile, though. I need an answer, not a one now. Got shelter packed when I asked you why. Said, and when did I become a question mark? Tell me everything apparently will be. Now got shelter packed when I asked you why.